Well, hello. For a second there, my computer didn't know whether it was coming or going. Hopefully, all of that intro has worked well for you. I am tethered to the phone again. So if my internet is a little bit sketchy, then I do apologize. But I have to say that I owe you far, far fewer apologies than one of my fellow cigar professors who, and I don't want to name names, but there are only two possibilities. I'm going to say the ugly one, but that doesn't really narrow it down. One of them has, I think deliberately, I think that this is entirely intentional. I think that he knows exactly what he's doing. Has once again decided to include in a Cigar Professor pack for our smoking pleasure a cigar that you won't be able to get again. In fact, at this time, I know that it was deliberate because he is the one who told us that the Hammer and Sickle brand was going out of business. He is the one that brought us the devastating news that you remember that white label Hammer and Sickle? Yeah, how lovely it was and how you couldn't get any more. Remember the red label Hammer Sickle, how it was also a really good cigar and you couldn't get any more? What would the logical thing be to do when you are a cigar professor responsible for deciding what cigars are going to be in each and every pack, and you know that there's a brand going out of business and those people will never have the satisfaction of being able to get another one for themselves? What would be the responsible thing to do? Don't give them one so they don't know what they're missing out on. That's what you do if you're a responsible human being. But no. I don't work with responsible human beings. I work with animals who like torturing normal people like you and like me with goods that we will never lay our hands on again. Well, you've heard my side of the story. I'm going to let him speak for himself. No, you know what? No, I'm pissed. No, I'm not. I'm not even bringing him on. I am too angry. You know, he knows I'm angry as well. You know how I know that he knows that I'm angry? How I know that he knows that I know that he knows that I'm angry? Is he fled the state. I moved into the same state as him. He has fled the state back down to Danistan in Victoria just to avoid my wrath. That's how angry I am, and that's how I am. Should I bring him on? I don't know if I should. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Oh, all right, fine. I'll try. I'll do my best. Hang on. This is a gesture of good faith. A gesture of good faith from one cigar professor to another. Damo,
I love you too.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Look, I love you so much. I'm trying to give you one-off experiences in life that no one else could ever give you. That's how much I love you, and all of our followers.
And
see, if I didn't love
will never be able to
myself, I wouldn't share them with anyone. Maybe Omar.
But in one sense, wouldn't that have been better? Like once we've tasted golden elixir of life, because we know these are amazing cigars. Had them, we're going to always.
Well, I just never known a little bit of stock. So if some people are really enjoying it,
I'm buying them.
They will actually get to experience 2 or 3, or if someone wants to order the whole lot that I've got in stock, or someone will be able to experience it as many times as whatever's left in stock.
Well, look, I don't think that's a good enough excuse, but I'm going to have to put up with it and put up with you as I have for the last 3 years, going on 4 years now in the Cigar Professor. So I don't have much choice. And speaking of putting up with people, we are joined once again by Omar. Omar, how are you?
I'm good, boys. Living the dream.
I love the fact that we're arranged in beard order here. We have obviously the face that needs to be hidden the most, then a face that needs to be somewhat hidden, and then of course mine, which can be proudly displayed. I just feel like we've done a really good job of arranging ourselves today.
Well, I'm admiring how white I'm becoming. I should maybe apply for Father Christmas roles this year.
Good evening, Mr. Moore. You're probably in your lovely new smoking den, Dan, I'm guessing, and I'm hoping that you are rather more sheltered from the mosquitoes than what I am. I have a genuine, at any given moment, I can see genuinely a dozen mosquitoes, and there's probably another 100 that I can't see. So I'm going to get eaten alive tonight, which means I really need to light up as quickly as possible and get that smoke going around me to try and keep these mosquitoes away. So, Damo, why don't you tell us a little bit about this amazing cigar that you've got for us tonight?
Well, Just bear with me one very short second. One of our avid followers, Udo, has had some technical difficulties, and so I'm sending him a link to the YouTube live stream so he can join us. Okay, so as far as I can tell you about this specific cigar, it was originally introduced to the market in 2012. I don't know when production ceased because the company has gone out of business. The website doesn't exist anymore. There's very little information available on their products. The way I came across these, when I got the Hammer and Sickle Connecticut in the white box and the Sun Grown in the red box, I thought that I'd bought the last of what was available. Anyway, about a year ago, the supplier put out a thing and said, "Oh, we've just been doing a stock take inventory of our warehouse. We found a box at the back of the warehouse that just happens to have some Hammer and Sickle cigars. Here they are, first in, best dressed. You'll never get them again." They didn't actually know how old or how long they'd been sitting in their warehouse for, but when I received them, they did look like they had been sitting around for at least 5 years, maybe longer. Because I've had cigars come in, 4 or 5 years of age, and these definitely look to have at the very minimum that amount on them, possibly more.
Yeah, right.
And I do have some notes that I wrote down.
That is spectacular.
So it is supposed to be a medium to full body cigar. It actually has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper and a Nicaraguan Criollo binder and all Nicaraguan filler. And it was the first time that Hammer and Sickle used Nicaraguan tobacco in their cigars. So that's about the limit. And it came out in 3 Vitolas, Robusto, Toro, and a double Corona. And what we have in inventory and what you've got tonight is the Toro. And I do have, when I ordered what I was ordering, they ran out short of the Toros from the order I put in. And they said, we'll ship without it. I'm like, no, because of all the cost and expense and difficulty shipping cigars to Australia. So they substituted into my order the short with Robustos. So in inventory, we've got some more Toros and Robustos in stock.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'm just doing a straight cut and using a single jet lighter just to light this one up.
I've done a straight cut as well. You can get some light on it. Nice, easy draw.
Yeah, lovely draw. Beautiful construction. There's a lovely, the sheen on this this Ecuadorian Habano wrapper is quite lovely too. It's actually a really, really beautiful cigar that does, even on the cold draw, give you some hints of the spice that I'm, based on the tasting notes that I've read, we're to expect leather, spice, and all things nice. So not at all suited to
There's
you,
also a bit of sweetness and sourness in that cold draw taste.
Doesn't quite want to light up.
It's all those mozzies.
Yeah, I tell you, I need to get this cloud of smoke going because they are eating me alive right now. I'm killing them every 10 seconds. And Mr. Stu, I see the crowd has showed up. You must pay well. I mean, Omar, your renter crowd has showed up.
Yeah. You leave him alone, huh?
I'll try and be nice. It is difficult, though. So, Dan, who's the friend? Who have you got with you tonight?
Well, that's actually quite a lot more mild and sweeter than I was anticipating on the initial light up. I was expecting a bit of a spice bomb, a little bit of pepper on that initial light up, but this is quite delightful.
I will say, though, there is still a citrus, not a citrus rind. There's a dried fruit rind. There's a sour twist to it.
Yeah, definitely.
That I'm quite enjoying.
Definitely got that on the cold draw too.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that.
You know what it reminds me a little bit of? Lemon cake, like a lemon sponge cake. That's sort of soft, a little bit of sour, a little bit of sweet, nice and gentle.
That'd be a pretty potent lemon sponge cake. This is pretty strong compared to that.
Oh well, I'm liking that.
So you know,
Nice
we do have some breaking news tonight.
What's our breaking news?
You know how the US presidential election's coming up in a few days?
I do. Don't know exactly which day, but I know it's just around the corner.
I think the 5th or something like that. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Well, that is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the importance of the Murrindindi Shire local council elections. As you'll appreciate, that it's a much more prestigious, much more competitive, much more important election that's happening. And in fact, the count is on literally right now as we meet together tonight. And we actually know someone who is a candidate, one of only 2 candidates in the running to be the councillor for one of the wards in Murrindindi Shire. And that is our very own Mr. Stew.
So you mean that there are bettable odds to wager that he might get in, is there?
Well, better than bettable odds. At this moment, he's actually ahead in the count. Let's play a game of over and under. See if you can guess how many votes he is ahead by.
100?
Less than that. Omar, your guess.
10.
More than that. Damo?
50.
Less than that?
30.
Less than that?
20.
That's last I heard. 20 votes splits them.
Wow. Well, I just hope they're not using
Doesn't
Dominion
get much closer than
computers
that.
to count the votes.
Yes, Dominion voting machines. But I tell you what, this citrus, this sort of marmalade citrus is really quite strong in this, and it's endured past just the initial light up.
But it's almost a bit addictive,
Very,
isn't
very
it?
light spice.
Like you keep going back for more of it.
Sorry?
It's an addictive
Yeah, I feel like I'm
flavour.
smoking it too fast already.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like
I'm smoking it too
trying
fast
to not
already.
do that, but I sort of want more of that flavour.
Yeah. A little bit like when you have sour lollies. Like I love like the sour snakes and stuff like that, where it just sort of gives you that little tightening of the jaw across the back. It's a little bit reminiscent of that. And I find
I made the mistake of opening a packet of those for the drive down, and I couldn't stop eating them.
Yeah, no, they're bad value, those lollies. You open them, you have one, and then suddenly the packet's gone.
I know. And look, I was trying to see who else was in the vehicle with me eating them, but I couldn't see anyone. So.
Don't you hate that? Omar, you're a quiet man tonight.
Quite soft on the retro as well.
Yeah.
Delightfully soft on the retro. I reckon this cigar's got a fair bit of age on it. I would hazard to guess that we're probably looking at 7 to 10 years of age on this cigar. Just gut feeling from having smoked cigars that have got age.
Yeah.
It's a bit too smooth and mild to be under 7 years, I reckon.
Yeah. I tend to agree. And speaking of agreeing, it's not often I agree with Dan, but he's spot on here.
Not me to say that you talk so much shit, but
We got Udo with us as well.
yeah.
Hi, Udo. I'm glad the link worked for you.
The actual lighter was really interesting. I think that lemon or the whole tang thing is profound. It's the main genre, right? But there's still a cedar. There's still an earthiness in it that makes it very interesting. Not so blunt type of. It kind of makes it more body based tang, and I think that along with some molasses type sweetness is making it an amazing starter. It's absolutely out of control. I would
try retroing this. This is just
not a one trick. Don't drop it. Well, I just lost the challenge. I literally dropped the cigar on the floor.
Man who can't hold his cigar. I've heard it accused that he can't hold his drink.
Right?
Now
that's got to be one of the worst. Well, mercifully, I don't believe I've split it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that when the ash drops, the flavor doesn't change because there wasn't much ash there to drop. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
The other interesting thing with this is that the smoke is actually not drying. Like, you know how a lot of cigar smokes, you sort of get that dryness on the back of your throat or on the palate. I'm not getting that at all with this cigar.
Yeah. I've just had my first sip of my tea that I'm having with it tonight because I haven't two up until now.
And the smoke is very thick and chewy.
It's got excellent smoke production. I'm outside because where I'm staying, I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate me smoking indoors. But considering I was told not allowed to smoke indoors as well, so there you go. But I could see smoke wafting across under the lights, so there's a bit of a breeze here. So to be able to see that in the breeze, there's obviously producing a good quantity of smoke.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, I've got my customary black tea.
Well, I've got an Earl Grey tea and some tonic water tonight.
Very nice. Oh, of course. Of course.
You silly fool.
Gosh.
You should have had the lemon kombucha to go with this, or a lime kombucha. Where's your pairing sense?
I think it's going to go pretty good. It'll go pretty good. James, you just need to be quiet. One cigar a fucking year. What do you know? Just relax.
Omar, did you get that drink as part of like a sign-up bonus in the Dudes for Harris group?
No.
Were they sort of handing them out at the door?
No. When I saw that when I was there to cheer you up at the LGBT float, they sort of passed it on to me when I was cheering.
No, I saw you on the sidelines cheering me on. I really appreciated the support, actually.
Yeah.
But we were having the ginger beer flavored kombucha because we're real men.
With the big beard and
That's right. I can show my face in public, mate. I just, just because you can't.
An incident with the copper. I've never had one of those incidents. Oh, And that's it.
Sorry,
Wow.
I think my internet's giving me some grief at the moment.
It is from the get-go. Well, Dames and I have to maybe take control because
So here's
You just need to sign up for Starlink.
yeah, maybe. So my family has some history with the Hennessy name. So I'm led to believe that my mum's side of the Hennessy family was kicked out from the Hennessy family because the and the Hennessys were a Catholic family. And as a result, we got disinherited, so I'm told. Otherwise, I would have been a squillionaire with Hennessy money.
No. I think you would have drunk the profits.
Probably.
Be like Omar in charge of a cigar bar. Be the only dry cigar bar in the world.
yeah.
So, what was that? It'd be like Omar in charge of a gay bar, smoking the profits. Yeah.
You're welcome. Anytime you want to come in. I'm just a worker.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, huh?
All right, now that's a flavor change. I don't know if it's my imagination because I mentioned ginger earlier, but I almost feel like there's a hint of ginger has kicked in here.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Matter of fact, I thought it was always very mildly there, but as a spice, but now it's more profound.
I think it's kicked up. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned ginger lollies, those lemon ginger type of lollies. I think those profiles.
Yeah. Yeah, like sort of the tube, sort of the soft cubes. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, seriously?
And that leather note stepped up a little bit as well with that spice increase.
Yeah.
A very soft leather, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, by the way, did you get a password on your email by any chance?
Me?
Yep.
Probably. Let me just have a look.
Thank you.
Can I give it to you over the internet? Is that all right?
Yeah. Because just in case it's only Demo and I, and
so that you can kick me out, isn't it? You're planning on just stabbing me in the back.
Right.
It says never give this code to anyone. Never share this code publicly, or else your internet security and identity will be at risk. So can I read it out to you with everyone live online?
yeah.
027780. 027780.
That's an affirmative.
7780.
It says it's expired.
You got that?
I did, but it says, "What did you do?"
You took too long to ask me. I wasn't checking emails. The show had started. Do it again, and I'll check my emails straight away. All right, go on. Let's do some online tech support during the Cigar Professor. Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
We're diversifying.
We gotta get Cigar Professor real diversified.
If that diversity isn't enough.
Yeah. It's
actually, you know what? We might be onto something. I mean, if people are watching Twitch streamers of computer games that they could be playing themselves, what about like a Twitch stream of phone tech support? I reckon there'd be a market for that. There'd have to be. There'd have to be a market.
Again.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
You ready, Omar? I'm about to sell my soul. 1611855.
161.
555.
655?
85. 1611855.
Do you know how bad your internet is? Yes, thank you. I got it. You know how bad your internet is?
No, clearly I don't.
You're like,
all right. Let me try and put my phone somewhere better to try and get some better internet.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, let me log myself out. 1 second.
Oh dear. Omar's playing. Oh, Omar's gone. Now we have a much more enjoyable, peaceful show. Oh no, that's all ruined now. I was just about to do my monologue.
Oh,
it's been a while since I've done a monologue.
So Dan wants to know what we were logging into. That was just giving Omar access to the nuclear launch codes.
You're crazy. I was saying yesterday I had an incident with the popos, like a really unbelievable incident. And I don't know,
right?
You can shed some light on it. So I was tailgating a couple, and I didn't know I was tailgating a couple. He was driving a white Ford Ute that is just looked like a typical tradie Ute, and he was going like 10K under the limit, and I'm obviously running late from work, so I'm like, I'm tailgating. As soon as I get to dual lane, obviously, I hammer it down. I went about 50K over the limit, which is technically will lock you off there, put you in handcuff, and goodbye at the door. Anyway, so my fault. Obviously, no excuses for that. I tailgate him and I just bolted down. And next minute, I know there was a blue light and there's a Ford Ranger. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Anyway, stops me, and I'm waiting for him. He rocks up, big boy, about 40-ish. He starts, my name is Constable Barry, blah, 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 and this is recorded, no problems. While he was talking to me, I realized he was shaking. I'm like, I should be shaking. And I'm really calm. I'm kicking back. I didn't have a cigar, by the way, but usually I'm having a cigar. And I was kicking back, and he's shaking. And I'm like, no problems. And he was like, do you know you were going 50 over the limit? I said, I don't know how fast I was going, but I would be going faster to stop me. And give me your driver's license. To give him the number, he scanned it, went back to his truck. 5 minutes later, he comes back. I have like a million driving licenses. Comes back. And Topher, he was so fucking shaking that he's trying to put the buttons on his thing, and he's doing these ones. And I'm trying to left, but I'm not trying to left. It was so funny.
Yeah.
The whole thing took about 10 minutes, and he was constantly shaking. And he said, look, yeah, I've never seen a copper shake. Like that offense, the whole driving thing chase, normal chase, not running. It's the easiest thing on their day work, right? Usually things are worse when they have to do shit. Dead body, accidents, someone just slapping you around or whatever.
And if he's a senior constable, it's not like he's a rookie.
Yeah. He'd be 40-something. He was an older man, not younger. And it was the most weirdest experience I ever had. I can't put my finger on it. Why he was shaking, I don't know. My mate, Cigar Man Sam, and a couple other boys reckoned that was my view. But I'm like, I'm not being fucking around. I've never had.
It's probably good you weren't smoking, because if there'd been smoke coming out the window, he would have assumed you'd already lit the fuse.
Yeah. He was actually, literally, he was doing these ones. What the fuck is going on?
Well, look, we've heard of all these side effects. Apparently, Parkinson's is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Stew's not wrong. I'm not trying to start nothing, but,
look, Stu is always right, isn't he?
Stephen does make a decent, serious point here. There might be PTSD there from something that's happened to him in the past.
Yeah.
He's probably got PTSD from seeing your face through the window.
I was thinking that too.
Interestingly, I don't know if it's me or this cigar has gone milder. It's gone much much milder on me. It's the light up. I mean, I'm just almost finishing the third. I'm
Yeah.
outdoors. It's a bit of a monkey burn. I'm outdoors clearly, but it's very interesting that it's supposed to go much stronger, but it's going a little bit milder.
Mine's not gone milder. Mine's maintaining that really kind of tangy, citrusy kind of flavor. But I'm also wrestling with a wonky burn. Damo, how's your burn?
It's a little wonky, but it is quite breezy where I am.
Yeah, same.
Okay. See, it's not breezy where I am, and mine actually is. I've had to touch it up twice, not in a big way, but just working on it a little bit. And yeah.
Speaking of touching up, that actually makes sense. But I would say the only thing that needs to be touched up is you. So that's called fucking user error. So calm the fuck down.
Come down here and say that. Come down here and say that. Step through your screen into Albury and say that. I dare you. But what it's doing is it's making me psychologically over smoke it. So I'm now having to really consciously slow down because I keep trying to heat it up again to try and correct the burn. So it means I'm just not enjoying it as much as I should be, for given how good the flavors are.
12, seriously, it has gone milder on me. I'd love to hear from Damon what he thinks. But
let me just check. Maybe a tad, but not a large amount.
But it has toned down.
Oh, this is a gorgeous stick, though.
Yeah.
This could be look, if this was available, it'd be a good daily smoke.
Yeah.
If only we could get some. Okay. Damo, can I just remind you, we are trying to run a business here. We need cigars that we can sell to our people. Cigars that we can never get any more of don't help. Aussie John, black tea, am I off the good stuff? I always love a black tea with a cigar. Even when I've got whiskey or something else, I'll still have a black tea as well. But actually, yes, I'm temporarily, for another 3 weeks, I'm actually off alcohol. Just giving my liver a little bit of a break.
I would say it's a bit late for that anything you want to do that liver now. But hey, knock yourself out.
That's what I was doing. That was the problem.
Yeah.
The only problem with smoking outside is the tea goes cold quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Now that that's cooled down a little bit, I'm getting a lot more subtlety in the flavors.
Yeah. Look, I'm loving it. I think it just had a bright kind of light up, very, very sweet, strong. You say, hey, how are you? And then it's like calming down. It's kind of same flavor, bit ginger lolly type of thing as well, but absolutely beautiful.
Stu, can we get a real-time update on how this count is going? How often does the website update itself? Can you see it going, or is it like every hour?
Omar, did you retro this before?
Yes.
It is so mild on the retro, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so
this has got to be the mildest retro of a cigar I think I've ever encountered.
And particularly for not a Connecticut. This is not a Connecticut, right?
I know.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Like I've had multiple Connecticut's that give you more pepper burn in the sinuses than this. There's no burn in this at all. It's just this beautiful, sweet, musty smoke on the retro.
What is the names you were saying? So the wrapper is what?
It's the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Habano. The binder is a Nicaraguan Creole.
Correct.
And then Nicaraguan fillers.
Yes, and this is interesting too. I'm actually reading. I need new glasses because I can't see properly anymore. For reading, the Nicaraguan filler is a blend of Ligero, Viso, and Seco. Well, Ligero is known for a bit of punch and kick to it, so it's actually a ridiculously smooth cigar for that. And once again, I attribute that to the age of this stick.
Look, I'm thinking it's definitely a decade on it. It's easily a decade. Won't pass that time.
I reckon this stick is actually so old that Leonardo DiCaprio wouldn't date it.
It wouldn't? Serious?
Too old for him. It's in the double digits, mate. It's aged out.
I'm surprised you didn't say Bill Clinton.
That too.
Yeah, that's big.
Tell you what, it's a nice slow burn though, isn't it?
Yeah. I've over smoked mine, to be honest, so I'm probably not going to get the same life out of mine as what you're going to get out of yours. Just been battling this, and again, it's sort of gone wonky again. I've just been battling that all the way through. Okay, so Stu's saying there's no updates on the account until tomorrow. That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I thought they count until they get a statistic, or is
That's what they do in state and I think federal. But I mean, there is a point where they do stop, but they go pretty late. But this is council, so you know what council workers are like.
you mean the Electoral Commission doesn't run the council elections?
I don't know.
That
Stu
doesn't
said
sound like cricket to me.
council goes home at 4:59:59 tomorrow.
Oh, they've scored themselves 59. Actually, no, probably 60 minutes and 59 seconds of overtime there.
Mm.
True. Better get the overtime pay. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the risks that we have to take from time to time here at the Cigar Professor, Stu. We've taken a risk on an old cigar from a wonderful brand. Flavors are fantastic, and the construction itself is actually really good. I can't fault just the physical construction of it. Beautiful little box press. The wrapper is in great condition, but yeah, this burn is a challenge, no doubt about it.
I'm going to touch mine up because it's looking all good, and then there's just that one little bit. So,
and I'm still just having to fight with mine. It just doesn't. Yeah, I'm going to have to before it gets really bad. What that does, unfortunately, is it means that the flavors are always just kind of changing on you a little bit because you're not always getting the full intended correct ratios of wrapper to binder to filler because it keeps going out on one side or the other.
That Habanos wrapper, man, it's absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
So with that little touch up, I got a bit more of that ginger note back again.
Yeah, I got. I was going to call it a white pepper, but it's related to the ginger. Tip of the tongue.
So there's a lot going on, right? Do you agree? Oh no, on the tip of your tongue, I said.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually turning into a bit of a pepper bomb, not in a bad way. I'm enjoying it. But for me,
it just ramped up.
Yeah, for sure.
But not annoying. Peppery cigars, but this is very good.
Yeah, it's crisp, it's clean. The citrus for me is fading. That citrus is dropping away, and a clean white pepper is coming in.
You want to roll today? The citrus is definitely dropping.
I read a review of a cigar the other day that I thought I should buy for Omar. The initial comments of the no, but I can do that. The initial comments were, it's like smoking jalapeno peppers.
So I didn't end up doing it because I ran out of time to order them, but I had a plan. For my wedding day, I was going to have a present for my wife and her bridesmaids that was going to be delivered to them on the morning of the wedding. And you know how you can get these boxes of 4, usually they're bullet-shaped chocolates, and 5 of them will have a caramel filling and 1 of them will have a red chili inside. And the idea is that everyone has to bite into theirs at the same time, and you find out who's got the chili. And my plan was to buy 6 boxes and drill a tiny little hole in as many as I had to drill in order to find the 6 with the chilies and fill 1 box with pure chilies.
Oh, shit.
and gift that as a fun little game for them to play on the morning of the wedding. Sadly, I never got around to it.
It sounds like that would have been a good time. It would have been. You want me to cut?
Might have been a different wedding if it had have.
So my burn has just gone full out of alignment again.
Look, where was that comment earlier? User error. I think it's the
Dan, you're a user error. Yeah, I thought that was good too. Thank you, Stu.
Man, that that tangy note has popped back up right up again. It's like on and off. It's like on and off.
You're not wrong. I was about to say the same thing, and then I was like, ugh, or is it just my palate playing tricks on me? But yeah, thank you for the confirmation.
Yeah.
You sort of wish it comes back, and then it comes back, and then gives you a little break and comes back again.
Yeah.
It's a flavor bomb. I gotta say this. It's just
this is a yeah. I'm understanding. Sorry,
I would relate back to the Age of Fernandez we had in the same shape, but that was really hard to get. Demo,
the cigar of the year one.
I don't know if it was cigar, but we
No,
had
that was CP Carrillo. The cigar of the year.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Yeah,
the one that I got a 5-pack off you, Dames, not long ago.
Oh, the Ave Maria, the Divinia, the blue box, blue and silver box one.
Yeah, it just reminds me.
Gosh, okay.
Of that, yeah. The only thing is, extra tang. That was not so tangy.
But the softness and the sweetness, definitely.
Yeah, softness, sweetness, the vitola, the feel of the cigar, being a flavor bomb. Man, this is good.
Oh wow!
Actually,
wow, that just moved back on my tongue. That just went black powder, not even black pepper. That went black powder. That flavor shifted all the way back on the palate.
I'm actually feeling it now. How far are you into cigar, Toph?
Yeah, I'm further than you. I'm over smoking it, but I feel like I've got no choice. I'm just fighting this burn all the way through.
Yeah, it's got to take.
I might let it rest for a while, and then if I have to relight it, I'll relight it. But I should just let it cool down. But that last mouthful was almost charcoal. It was almost like roasted umami, spit roasted charcoal umami.
I'm getting to that. It's slightly bitter. Slightly bitter.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, slightly bitter and salty. Yeah, I'm actually getting into it now. This is just like full on. It's keeping active.
Yeah. Well, here's another interesting bit of information. It was rolled in, excuse my poor pronunciation, Tabacla Aguilera in Honduras.
Okay.
And that was the first time Hammer and Sickle used that facility for rolling cigars too.
So it's Ecuadorian and Nicaraguan tobacco rolled in Honduras with
Correct.
A Russian brand.
Absolutely.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah, it's not too bad at the minute for me.
A Russian brand owned by an American company.
Because nothing says communism quite like being owned by the Americans.
Too right.
You can't be as American as from New York Yankee, you know.
Look, I haven't got a real exact story of what's happened, but from what I can understand is the guy that owns Hammer and Sickle cigars passed away about a year before the war on Ukraine, where they banned all Russian stuff and put the trade embargo, and hence that. The kids were to take over the business, but I think they just thought it was just all too hard and decided not to continue the business and shut it down and basically sold off all the stock, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, which is a shame. So I wish that this recipe was still being made. I mean, heck, if this was still being made by another brand of cigars, you'd be buying this one for sure.
Well, there was some rumor, wasn't there, that the whites and the reds, the sun grown and the Connecticut that we had previously were being taken on by another brand or being re-released or something. Am I mistaken in that?
I reached around and found out who the rumor led to on that. They said that they had bought the last of the stock, but they were unable to acquire the recipe to reproduce it. They were hoping to produce their own label cigar in a similar style, but it wouldn't be an exact copy.
Yeah. Okay. That's a shame. Yeah, I'm getting down. I'm close to the final third already. I'm just having to oversmoke. I mean, I say already.
I've just gone into the second third. Look at this.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going real fast.
I know, but I feel like if I don't, I'm just battling with it constantly. And thank you to Richard for sharing our little show into your groups. Much appreciated. Richard's a good friend of the show and an amazing member of the cigar community here in Australia.
I must confess, Topher, I was so glad that you didn't join me for a cigar the other night when I was coming through town.
Why is that?
Because the cigar I lit up was just so plugged. I reckon I could have sucked more smoke through a brick than that cigar. So I ended up smoking your cigar instead.
Non-Cuban?
It was, the Magnudo vintage 1997 with the stainless steel ring on it.
I do.
The Duro one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even used the easy draw on it, and even the easy draw was struggling to. It was rolled like a rock. I've never encountered a cigar that hard.
I have found those cigars to be a little bit hit and miss. For example, sometimes they've had to put a little bit of material on the inside of the ring because the ring gauge of the cigar wasn't quite large enough, and then if the cigars are quite moist and there's a bit of humidity in them, they expand and then that sticks. And I've had wrapper damage with them. I've found them to be, it looks good as a piece of presentation. It looks fantastic, but the cigars themselves, fantastic. I'm not faulting the cigars, but that presentation with that ring on them, I've just found to be troublesome.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just where the ring was. There was a good 4 inches of cigar that felt like it was stem and overpacked.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because that's good tobacco. Did you take it with you? I don't know, break it up and put it in a pipe or something.
No, I've left it for you to enjoy.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, thanks so much. With all the holes punched through it and all your slobber on the end, yeah. I won't say you never gave me anything. So it's eased off again now. The flavors have settled. I've let it cool a little bit as well. Oh, Omar's lost his ash. It's definitely settled. I'm probably back into a little bit of citrus, not as strong as it was.
Does the flavor change much when the ash drops?
Not much.
That soft leather is definitely there on the aftertaste. You can sort of sit with that and you almost feel like you can almost kind of chew the leather 20 seconds later. I mean, not that leather forms a large part of my normal caloric intake, but, I do know what it tastes like, so... I'd say I'm pretty well back where we started. Citrus, ginger, a little bit of leather.
That's one of the things that aging a cigar does do as well. It tends to blur the flavor distinctions between the thirds into a sort of a more uniform smoke from start to finish.
Yeah, a bit more homogeneous. Given how powerful it became in that middle third. I expected it to really kind of punch me in the face at this stage, but it's not. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate you keeping that prized possession of the plugged cigar with Damo slobber on it for me. Very grateful.
Hey, I'm not a slobbery smoker. I'm not Omar.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look at mine. Look how dry that is.
Yeah. So my wife and I used to share cigars from time to time, and the worst bit was she would always lick her lips immediately before smoking the cigar. I'm like, babe, lick your lips afterwards. Just keep it dry. No. So, Stu, that's why I didn't give you the logins to come and join us on the show. All right. If you were wondering, that's why. I didn't say it.
This dude.
Let's see how this band comes off. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of movement there. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. No overgluing. Always a good sign.
It is.
Nice. So that citrus has dropped away again, and now there's almost it's a floral. It's almost a frangipani, a light kind of a floral note coming through now.
When I was doing those retros, I did get a bit of a floral note on the retros earlier on.
Yeah.
I've got a lot more leather, cedar, earthy type of thing coming up.
A little bit herby.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, a little bit herby. I get that.
Funnily enough, when I have a swig of the tonic water and take a puff, the herbs become more pronounced.
Okay.
Still quite cool at nights, isn't it? For this late in the year.
Well, I've been making use of the pool with the kids the last week and a half.
Just hang on a sec. I think there's a rodent in the pile of stuff next to me.
It's your biggest fan.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I can hear something moving around in there.
I could hear a buzzing sound coming from a wasp's nest, a mud wasp nest on the side of the house earlier today. So I think that's probably a wasp trying to hatch its way out, and I think failing.
I have wondered the main reason they regulate tobacco is because of nicotine and it being addictive and causing health problems, being addicted to it.
Sure.
If you were to breed tobacco that had no nicotine in it and make cigars out of that, I wonder if that would be a case for a tax-exempt cigar.
No, they'd still claim it on the basis of health. I mean, they're already taking the piss because the health implications of cigars are a fraction of the health implications of cigarettes, but they tax them the same. So they're already disregarding the differences. They're just taxing them because, tobacco tax, there you go.
Yeah.
And these days they can't stop. I mean, the budget would be back deep into deficit if they stopped taxing tobacco.
Mind you, they would be making a hell of a lot more tax if they dropped the price on tobacco and got rid of the illegal trade.
Correct. That, my friend, is the Laffer curve at work. Nicotine helps with a lot of different things, and nicotine, ADHD certainly potentially being one of them. And there's actually a lot more research being done now into the positive aspects of nicotine, which is quite cool.
Reduces the rates of certain viruses replicating in the body.
Certainly does. And I happen to know some people, some young and some actually, well and truly older than me, that have begun experimenting with wearing nicotine patches for various medicinal effects, not because they're addicted to cigarettes or cigars or anything like it. So there's an increasing awareness around at the moment.
Not only that, the other day, what was it? Came across, it was a positive effect of nicotine. It'll come back to me, but, yes. A study, it was done on people who had actually lost the sense of smell due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They actually found that people who were not recovering their smell and taste on exposure to nicotine immediately recovered up to 50% of the smell and taste straight away.
I can tell you that someone that I know personally has had exactly that experience. And they reported it directly to me. So for you guys, that's secondhand. But for me, it's firsthand. I've heard it directly from someone who said, yes, I had these symptoms. I started putting nicotine patches on, and this is what happened. And that's exactly what they reported.
Yep. Look, the difference between drugs and pharmaceutical products is who's selling it and the dosage.
Correct. Yep. So the Army did extensive studies, the British Army especially, but the Americans did as well, on all the different drugs that were proliferating during the 1950s and 60s. All the party drugs, the psychedelics, the thises and the that's, and they've continued to study all the other drugs since. And, obviously we know the Germans and the Finnish were using methamphetamines during the Second World War. Drugs in military contexts, they've actually been used officially in military contexts for the last, nearly 100 years. And they've tried all of them. And the British Army concluded that there were two drugs that had a net positive effect on the performance of a soldier. So there are drugs that will make a soldier, march for longer or fight, more bravely or these sorts of things, but they have too many other negative effects on their judgment or their proficiency with their weapons or other things like that. So the net effect was negative. But they found two drugs where the net effect was believed to be positive, and that was caffeine and nicotine. Those were the two substances that the British Army concluded were a net benefit. If they could get their soldiers to be having caffeine and nicotine, then their overall performance would improve.
All they need to do is have Omar as a blood donor and give everyone a...
Just one drop would be enough.
That's it. Well, I know personally, after having suffered adverse reactions to remdesivir, I lost my sense of smell and taste for about 6 weeks. not due to COVID, but due to remdesivir. And I know it was remdesivir because it wasn't that I had lost my sense of smell and taste, but the smell and taste was substituted with the smell and taste of burning plastic.
Oh, lovely.
And
because that's what we wanted it to taste like.
Oh, it was in the early stage. It was quite terrible. I couldn't eat food because it just always make me bring it back up again because it tasted like you're eating poison.
Yeah.
But I sort of eating food was like having to take foul tasting medicine. But I did have a cigar, and I did notice a sudden reduction in that level of problem. So
yeah.
Actually, there's some videos that have been declassified on YouTube recently, or be declassified and put on YouTube, of the British Army doing drug testing on their soldiers in combat training. And the one I watched was they had them all on MDMA. It was hilarious.
So they actually played those exact videos. I've seen them doing the rounds on YouTube. They played those exact videos to us during recruit course in the Army. And the message was, don't be on drugs. We've tried them all already. We've already tested all of them. You can tell yourself that it makes you better, but it doesn't. We know, we tried. And so we watched, and it's hilarious. There was one, I think, there was one where they had some commandos trying to assault a building, and they had blokes just climbing trees, and
yes, that's the one.
All kinds of nonsense, very funny.
Maybe they just should be issuing all the soldiers with cigars.
Well, they used to issue them the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Cigarettes and coffee were in every single ration pack because caffeine and nicotine, those were the two drugs.
Yeah.
I'm going to touch this thing up again.
I reckon I'm about halfway point at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit wonky, but not. Yeah, I could almost touch it up, but I'll try and get through it.
Well, I'm enjoying it, but I think with the wonky burn that so many of us have been struggling with, I'm not sure that I'd be in a rush to buy a box of them. I'd feel like it's a little bit of a lottery, a little bit sort of Cuban-esque.
Oh, that's what it's like for anyone who buys Cuban cigars these days.
Yeah, that's right.
The last couple of boxes of Cubans I've bought, guaranteed 5 to 10 cigars in the box were crap, which is terrible when there's only 25 in a box.
Yeah,
I've stopped buying them. Yeah, I don't smoke Cubans anymore.
Yeah, it's a big risk.
If I had the kind of money that would allow me to get an authentic box of Cubans from 2012 or earlier, I would do that. But to walk into a shop and buy a Cuban off the shelf that's going to have been made in the last 2 years is too much of a risk.
Actually, I just got a couple of puffs and it self-corrected.
Yeah, nice. That's what I've been trying to do.
It's sticking out a little bit, if you can see that little bit sticking up. But
yeah, I've noticed the ash has been quite flaky for me. I've had that happen quite a lot along the way.
It's quite an enjoyable stick.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Is David Linehelm with us tonight?
He hasn't made any comments yet.
Just wondering how our nicotine canary's going.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on yet, so I'm going to say he's probably not with us. But if he
might
is,
be on another cruise.
Yeah, maybe cruising around Antarctica.
He's probably discovered with the rate of tax on cigars at the moment in Australia, it's cheaper to go on a cruise and smoke tax-free cigars for 3 months.
Right. Hey, there you go. Hang on. Did that work? Why is that not working? There we go. David Linehelm is here. No nicotine yet. There you go. All right. I've dramatically.
David, how are you finding the flavor profile on this cigar? It strikes me as something that you would find enjoyable, even though it's a little bit different to your favorites.
I would have thought this would be on the bolder end of the scale for David. Don't let me put words in your mouth, though, David. Love to hear your
think
thoughts.
it might be mild enough for him to enjoy the because there's no nicotine, just to enjoy those nice flavors that are coming through.
The white pepper's kicked back up again for me. I mean, I'm halfway into the final third now. Yeah. There's still plenty there, but that white pepper's kicked back up.
I would like to smoke this cigar again inside a room and let the ambience build up and see what that's like with this stick.
Mm.
Well, we'll all have to get together at Dan Moore's smoking studio in Albury.
Sounds like
get a group of us. Get about 15 of us in there.
We better put a Wi-Fi extension into his smoking room for us so we can live stream.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I've hung my phone over a clothes horse out here off to the side to try and get some signal around the house, and that seems to have helped. Yeah. Yep, David, I think you're spot on. Tangy, peppery.
So Omar was trying to convince me to go to the big cigar trade show in Vegas in February.
Oh yeah.
So I had a look at it. Now it's only open to industry people, which we would qualify.
We are, yep.
But you actually have to be a member of the Premium Cigar Association of America to do that, and the membership is based on your turnover.
Oh dear!
So there's an initial fee of about $600 US for a 12-month membership, and then if depending on what your turnover is per year of cigars, then they then have an additional price bracket you up, and I figured we'd probably end up with cost us about $700 US, which is about $1,000. And I thought, for the sake of getting maybe 150 sticks free samples at the trade show, I could probably buy those in America for that price.
Yeah, I reckon that might be worth it. Just you can't return back to Australia with them. That's the problem.
Not too sure about that.
Well,
no. So I just take a photo of them all and
yeah.
I just take photos of me, smoking this one, smoking that one, smoking this one, and send it to Omar.
That's right. That's
as
right.
I do.
Wish you were here.
Yeah.
Mind you, I believe I'm going to be heading to America next year on a business trip, so it's
Okay.
starting to look likely. So,
well, I'm trying to get myself to London in February for ARC in London. I'm trying to. I've pitched to try and do Battleground Melbourne Live as part of it. A bit of a modified version with a focus on courage rather than a focus on civil disobedience, just to make it a bit more palatable to the Conservatives. A bit too extreme for them. So we'll see. I don't know whether that'll succeed or not, but if it does, then I might have an excuse to then just get a round the world ticket and come home via the US and maybe drop in on the Vegas trade show.
Yeah, why not? Is it February or March, Damo?
I think it was. I can't remember. It was I think it was the very end of February, like the very end of February, like the 27th or 28th of February or something.
That's it.
Well, that should work out well. I'd do ARC in early to mid-Feb, and then go to Vegas and do the cigar trade show. And sounds like a good trip to me.
Mm.
Just duck in and go on Rogan and jump on Tucker Carlson's podcast while I'm there, just because I'm passing through.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And have cigars with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do both smoke cigars, so
Exactly. Who's the other guy with
There's a
mind blank?
there's a bunch of
University Dennis
Dennis Prager
Uni.
yeah. He smokes cigars. Not Matt Walsh. I mean, he does as well, but whatever. There's a couple of the Daily Wire guys smoke cigars.
Seems to be a correlation between smoking cigars and common sense.
He's very high.
Maybe there should be a study into that. Actually, if we did a study, I wonder if we could get a government grant to cover the cost of the cigars for the study.
I reckon we should get a government grant to do a study of our theory that if all politicians smoked cigars together, they'd be able to make better decisions.
Oh, look, I am willing to bet money on that.
We would need to obviously do quality control on the cigars that we were having the politicians smoke.
But not only that, we would need to do a lot of R&D to find the right selection of cigars so we had enough variety so that every politician could have a cigar that they would smoke.
Correct. And we would have to do a qualitative study on each cigar out of the enormous range that we would test, because, of course, we would want to be thorough. And we would have to carefully document the effect of each cigar on our mood and how conversational we were whilst smoking that cigar, obviously to select for the most, the ones that would most improve the mood of the politicians and make them most want to talk to each other. So I think that could be probably a 10-year research project, I would imagine.
Look, I reckon David Leinhelm would probably be the right person who has the linguistic skills and the understanding of bureaucratic paperwork to help us apply for this.
I reckon. Yeah, you might be right. We might have the dream team right here,
and we might need to. And look, he could always be like the chairman of the committee to oversee the project.
Well, we would want to make sure it had proper governance.
Yes,
and was set up properly as an independent body, not affiliated with any particular manufacturers. So, Damo, I'm sorry, you wouldn't be able to be on the board because you are compromised by your intimate relationship with Nick Perdomo. But Omar and I could be on the board, and David Leinhelm could be on the board.
I could still be brought on as the subject matter expert, though.
Yeah, you look. We would find a role for you as just sort of as a diversity.
I could be the logistics coordinator or something like that.
Yeah.
We need one of those. There you go. David has a particular set of skills that he's learned over a long career.
Yeah,
and Senator Babbitt would also, I'm sure, be willing to assist in the project.
Yep. And Stephen's right. This is all part of good governance. We would need a third-party assessment, double-checking our work to ensure that no biases, no subconscious biases have been allowed to creep in.
Yes.
David Leinhelm, love the guy, but he does have a bit of a bias towards padrones. We wouldn't want that to affect the outcome. So I think an independent verification body would be necessary.
Where's the application form? Look, you never know.
I think we do.
Mate, they've done weirder research projects that have been government funded.
No, you know what you would do? You would never mention cigars in the application. What you would mention is naturally applied herbal dietary supplements.
Yes.
High in nootropic alkaloids.
Wonderful. Yep. And best administered, because obviously it'd need to be a triple therapy. So it's going to have to be those plus Scotch, and black tea. We'd have to just find the right language around those as well.
I'd be the one who was being that triple blind study would be implemented several times a day.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, see, we would have to include in the study the risk of overdose. So we would need someone to overconsume in order to demonstrate that there wasn't a risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
you know, a lot of studies they do the LD50 lethal dose rate, so we'd have to just keep pumping them into Omar until we found that level.
And I'd be so happy when we did. David this is why we've got to pay David the big bucks. The link between cigar smoking and breakdancing, that would get funding in a heartbeat. Yeah. Once again, there's not enough breathe here to explain that. That's just the cigar.
Well, it could be all the hot air.
Now. Just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it. There it is. There's the application in a single sentence.
Yeah. Oh.
Can you imagine how much competition there would be for all of Australia's ambassadorial appointments if it came with like an endless supply of cigars?
Absolutely.
I'd become the ambassador to Antarctica for all I care. Just give me an office, give me a humidor. I will charm the pants off of those penguins.
Easy.
Yeah.
And then you know how the government likes to try and fund Australian stuff where they can. We could extend the project into determining whether we could develop the agriculture in this country.
You know, it's a national security risk if we don't have local supply, because if we can demonstrate that this really has a positive impact on diplomatic relations, on good governance internally as well as externally with other countries, then it would be a national security risk not to have our own local supply that could be secured in the event of supply chain interruptions or an outbreak of global war. So I think you're absolutely right. That would be a priority. There you go. I think we've just solved all the world's problems.
See what cigars can do.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
I must admit, even when I've had cigars with people on the opposite side of the political spectrum to myself, there's always middle ground that can be found over one of these.
Yep. Even if it's just the love of cigars.
Well, not even that. It stimulates the ability to actually listen to the other person's perspective and actually think, how can I adjust my perspective to accommodate the other person? You know, like where's that comfortable compromise?
Yeah.
And as they say in business dealings, the best negotiated deal is where neither side are happy.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm down to the nub, and with this wonky burn, I'm you guys have
how much you got?
Me.
Almost as you.
Finding the flavors become a little bit more earthy and bold Maybe a little bit of barnyard in there now.
Omar, I think you've got a new nickname. Komar.
What's shoving? Comar.
Wow, nothing? I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
Tough
a little
crowd.
bit.
Tough crowd.
Very.
So tough that you make a policeman shake.
Maybe we actually need to have Omar speaking in another language and subtitles under him or something.
Imagine that.
No, even better. Have him speaking in English and still put subtitles under him.
Hey, they're doing free and subtitles to everyone these days, automatically.
I'm sure that's something AI can do.
Yeah.
Man, if we had AI in this show, it'd double the level of intelligence. Well, I'm right down at the business end. That citrus marmalade has really kicked up, and it's coming in strong with the pepper. Real pepper bomb now with this kind of sour, citrusy twist on it. But I mean, I'm
retro
right
now is peppery.
Yeah.
So the retro up until the final third has been smooth and beautiful. Now it's definitely got a sharp bite to it.
Yeah, this thing's starting to hit the back of the throat as well, almost like a black pepper, but it's not. It's if this makes sense, it's white pepper mixed with charcoal, as distinct from a black pepper. Smoked white pepper. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Speaking of charcoal white pepper, when did you actually find out the news?
I'm sure that was funny, but I missed it.
No, I'm serious. When did you find out? That you are cooked, cooked, fried. Yeah, you are cooked.
I see. Yeah. Well, I think I just proved the point.
Yes, you did.
I think I just proved the point. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Smoking Central American cigars only stabilizes their economies through improved labor rates. Well, that's the case when any economy finds a good export. So, yeah, that would be true. Well, Mr. Stew, that actually works out to be an insult on this cigar because it's not the last cigar in this pack. So, if he saved the best, hey,
next month is the last one.
Yeah. So, if you save the best to last, what you're saying, Stu, is that this wasn't it.
I know what I got to select from for the next pack, but I haven't even decided what I'm going to put in it yet. But I will let this little rumor out. There's going to be a special present that I'm going to put in the pack for our 4-year anniversary.
Ooh, interesting.
Do tell.
You heard it here first, folks.
So
that's it. You're not going to. That's it. No actual information on what it might be.
No, you have to buy the pack if you want to find out.
Ah, I see what you did there. Very nice.
But definitely, it will definitely be worth it.
Very good. Well, Mr. Stew's already put in his guess.
It's a lot better than that. I mean, his chocolate is pretty good, but there's something more substantial.
Better than Damo's 100% chocolate.
Yes,
must be good. Is it Omar's fizzy bin juice?
Actually, did you guys click on that link of the soda company in America that's making soda paired specifically for cigars?
I looked at it briefly.
I've tried reaching out to him without any response. I was like, that'd be cool. Not in the next pack, but in a future pack, maybe a bottle of soda specifically paired to the cigar.
Yeah. Well, I feel like mine has burned very fast, but the truth is it's been over an hour and 10 minutes. It's been nearly an hour and 15 minutes. So the truth is it hasn't actually burned fast. It's just that mine's gone faster than yours.
Yeah, gotcha.
Be closer to about an hour 20, wouldn't it?
We took our time lighting up because I was too busy getting pissed off with you about the fact that you were serving us another limited edition cigar.
Funnily enough, I've got more of them to put in future packs too.
You're terrible, Muriel. I will say
we did the Perdomo firecracker, and we did the EP Carrillo Pledge firecracker, and I've acquired a couple of other firecrackers to look at in future packs as well.
Well, fireworks are your stock in trade.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, the benefit with the firecracker is that it's, the blends. There's a subtle difference, but those, if you like the firecracker, then you can go and buy the full size cigar of that particular blend.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm getting a hint of nicotine now, right at the very extreme business end. Only a hint, but it is there.
That will have to be verified by David.
Well, that's me, gentlemen. Lots of pepper towards the end. Oh. Proper pepper bomb.
Yeah.
I got the pepper, but it's like a really nice level of pepper. When they put a pepper sauce on a steak and it's just the right, it's not overbearing, it's just complementary. That's how I'm finding it in mine at the moment.
Yeah, good.
But definitely drier now than it was for the first 2/3.
Yeah. Yeah, you were right. Early on, the smoke was lovely and thick, and it remained actually quite thick. It was really good smoke production all the way through, but it did dry out towards the end. So, Damo, is there anything that we haven't really experienced yet in the cigar world? We've had candelas, we've had lots of different vitolas, we've had an enormous array of blends and brands. I mean,
look, there's still brands we haven't encountered yet.
Right. Barring an Italian Toscano.
For cost purposes, we haven't gone down the current trend in America for, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 ring gauge cigars.
Yeah, there'd be one cigar in the pack. We'd start smoking it in month 1, and we'd still be smoking in month 3.
Yeah.
We might be able to financially justify that if we had 2 Wee Willems, those little Dutch cigars, for like month 1 and 2, then we could have one of the monsters for month 3.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
We've done a couple of infused cigars. Just trying to think what else there is. The only ones we really haven't done are those. Well, you did that show. I remember tuning in when I was after a chemo session. You had that Italian cigar that was cut in half and smoked.
Oh no, that wasn't the one that we were smoking. That was one that he had with him. That was a mate of mine, Gary, and he's never been invited back. I mean, with good reason. You know, you don't bring a Toscano and start cutting cigars on the Cigar Professor. You're just gonna.
Well,
Gosh.
funnily enough, there's actually a brand of cigar that's just launched in the last 6 months in America. Or at least a product line from one of the companies that's basically all around that Toscano style cigar.
Yeah. Okay. Would I have one? Would I smoke one if it was offered to me? Yes, I would. Just to see, just to have the experience. But for example, a fan actually gave me a couple of boxes of Dutch cigars recently, and they're sort of made a bit differently, and apparently they don't need to be humidified. I don't know how true that really is, but apparently they don't need to be. I put them in my humidor anyway, and I smoked them, and they were okay, but they really did have more of that cigarette kind of ashy taste to them. It wasn't the flavorful kind of experience that we're used to.
Actually, one we haven't done is fire cured tobacco.
That's true. And I don't think I've ever had one on the Cigar Professor or otherwise, actually.
Does have a very strong campfire flavour through the cigar.
Yeah.
I have had a fire cured tobacco in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one of those things you either love or hate.
Yeah. Oh, I'll try it once.
I think one of the bigger brands of fire cured tobacco cigars is the Kentucky Fire Cured.
Okay.
Probably
one of those ones where you've got to have it with the American bourbon just for the sweetness as opposed to the dryness of a whiskey. Get a bit of moonshine and a fire cured cigar. Could be a good night.
Oh, look, there's always something new.
Yeah.
Always something new. Always something new.
I think there are way too many cigar brands, particularly in the New World. It's way too many that we can actually count. I think we have done.
Oh, limoncello. Oh, actually, I just picked a whole lot of lemons off a guy's tree where I was doing a delivery today. He said, "Help yourself." I got 2 20-litre buckets full of lemons.
Oh,
Last
nice.
time I got lemons from him, I made limoncello from it.
Nice. Sorry, Omar, what were you saying?
I think, Topher, it was a very interesting question. It's been a little while, and we have experimented with, I dare say, with more than most cigar smokers ever would.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
just a comment. Particularly living in Australia, I think from the smart cigar smoking world perspective, we have done probably most of it. There's nothing left in it. Got things that you wouldn't have just by looking at a catalog, that of time and in there. I don't think we did some Cuban brands, some iconic Cuban brands. Trinidad's and Roman Alonus. They're the heavy names. They probably the most heaviest names. I mean,
we did have a Cuban pack that we did do as pack 2.
Yeah, we did a range.
2 Cuban brands in that.
But I'm just saying from Cuban perspective, I mean, we cannot eliminate Cuban cigars ever, period. I don't smoke Cuban cigars. I'm not a fan, but I think if you ever get a chance at some point, I think it would be worth even a small Roman Alonus, which was the first cigar ever to have a band on a cigar. They were the trends in the cigar world. That is considered to be the most premium cigar as well. But I think apart from if we take that out, this Cuban rank out the business, we have experimented a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly in the Australian context, you're dead right. We've explored a much wider variety than the vast majority, by no means all, but the vast majority of Australian smokers. We've explored a much wider variety of vitolas and blends. And my question's not really directed towards, have we done every brand? It is more directed towards the sort of your major different types, your Candelas, your Barber Poles, your Pyramids, your Lonsdales, your Coronas. We've kind of covered most of the spectrums,
if not all.
Yeah.
Widely available stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, we were thinking of an in-person herf in Albury earlier in the year, and that fell through for a range of reasons. But maybe in the new year, maybe in January or February, we need to have a think about perhaps trying to get everyone together again for an in-person herf. And I'm gonna put my hand up again and say Albury's going to be a good place to do it if we can convince everyone to come down. And that time of year is a beautiful time of year in Albury, particularly February. If it's late February, it hopefully won't be quite as stinking hot. Late January can be pretty hot here, and late Feb can too, to be honest. But it's more likely to be all right, or even late March. Last Wednesday in March might be a good time to do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for that. For sure.
Yeah. Put a deer on the spit.
Oh, now we're talking.
I'd have to do a bigger spit. I don't know how deer would go. There's not a lot of fat in a deer, if I'm understanding correctly.
No, but what we do is like we could do a lamb shoved inside a deer, shoved inside a cow.
a cow lamb deerin turducken something. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let the imagination run wild. I have once, many, many years ago, actually not far from here in Rutherglen, I went to a barn dance at my auntie's winery, which is since sold, unfortunately, so we can't go there. But when I would have been probably 9 or 10, there was a big barn dance there, and that was the first time in my life I saw an actual pig on a spit, the whole pig, the head, the whole lot, all on a spit. And as a kid, of course, being a city kid, I found that very kind of confronting and confusing. But I'd love to do it again, actually. Now that I kind of understand more about all that stuff.
Nothing beats the crackling of the pig on a spit as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think deer would work on a spit for sure, because people do goats as well, and they don't have much fat. So I'm guessing it would work.
Yeah, we can throw a goat there.
You'd certainly get that.
You can see how many different animals we can shove inside a cow.
Oh dear. Yeah, but I reckon a good spit would be good.
Actually, one thing I've seen, there's a couple of YouTube channels from around the world, like Azerbaijan, where they, country life cooking and whatever. And one I saw the other day, they actually cooked the udder of a cow, and it was very, very fatty.
Yeah, right.
Well, that would probably be something interesting to.
Yeah.
And I actually like deer heart.
Okay.
Deer heart's not bad, so we could do a.
All right. Well, Stu, you can lead our hunting party for us. Bring us back a deer, a doe, a deer, a female deer, or a buck, or whatever you can get.
Look, I put my request in. I prefer a chittle doe. Best tasting deer out of all the deer I've eaten. Chittle's the best, and doe. Right.
I think you'll take whatever Stu can shoot.
Well, he better learn to shoot more.
Well, look, I mean, he's got the right idea here. If he comes home empty-handed without any deer, then he can just duck out to one of the farms and shoot one of their cows, and we'll just do that.
Yep. I can honestly say I've done that. Well, I didn't do it. One of my mates on a hunting trip accidentally did it, but nonetheless.
I'm sure the farmer was impressed.
Well, we pay the market price what he would have got for that animal when it went to market in a couple of months' time.
Yeah.
And we gave him the best cuts, and I'll tell you what, it was a really nice meat too.
Yeah.
Big job butchering ruddy cow on the side of a hill in the middle of nowhere, I can tell you. There's nothing to bloody hang the damn thing up on either, because normally you hang the animal to skin it and everything.
Yeah.
Had to be on the side of a bloody hill with no tree within 200 meters of the damn thing.
No. That's funny. I'll give you a bit of exercise. No, we can definitely do something good here. So let's put our thinking caps on, and I reckon probably by our next show, let's have a plan together with whether it's going to be February or March, and compare diaries and see what we can do.
The last conversation we had, I'm just reconfirming, we said, the boys, you guys were okay to do the December show on the Boxing Day. Is that correct? Or
I'm
do you want
good for that. I'm good for whatever.
Yeah, look, we can work around with because the last Wednesday of December's Christmas Day. But we have done Christmas Day shows in the past too, so it doesn't really bother me. But if it works out more convenient for everyone to do it on Boxing Day, then so be it.
25th, I prefer the Christmas Day, but I'll be in London, so I would prefer the 25th. But 26th, I will still do it.
I don't think Davidoff will be open on Christmas Day.
I have to do it from home. But I would rock with Davidoff. I'll see if they open on the Boxing Day, and I can do it from there. That's a promise too.
Well, the problem for you is going to be that with the
I'll have
time
to give you an extra cigar so you can give Mr. Sakian the cigar that we're smoking.
Yeah,
do that.
We're going to get our first celebrity on the show.
There you go.
Behave yourselves.
There you go.
Yeah,
oh, gosh. Well, I think by default, I would rather just stick with the Wednesday night. Stick with the consistent, what we're doing.
Yeah, sure.
We've done it on Christmas Day before. I don't have a problem with it. By evening of Christmas, all the festivities are over. Everyone's loaded up with food. The presents. It's all over bar the shouting. And if I can come outside and smoke a cigar, that gets me out of the washing up. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. Let's aim for that then, I guess.
So I'm gonna have to choose what we're gonna have for our Christmas cigar then.
No pressure, Damo. No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever.
Ooh. Do I? Is now the time to break out those Ave Maria Reconquistas?
Ooh. If the numbers work in terms of the amount of them that you've had, because you've had those in your care for how long?
I purchased them on July, August last year.
Okay, so they're relatively recent. Okay. You've had them for a bit over a year. By then, it'll be a year and a half. They're a brilliant stick.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you work your magic. I'm not going to interfere with what you do, Damo. You do it very well. So you have a bit of a think, and I know that you and Omar are going to do some quality control behind my back. Little secret men's business up in Sydney with me not in attendance. But I look forward to the results and seeing what you decide.
Well, if you had your private jet, you could just jump on it, fly up, and would wait the hour for you to arrive.
Yeah, but you don't have your pilot's license yet, so
No, I'm working on it. Funnily enough, I actually spoke to a explosives company the other day and said to them, "Have you considered moving your explosives around by plane?" And they said, "Yeah, but nobody wants to do it in the country." I said, "Well, I'm crazy enough to do it. If you pay for me to fly your plane, I'll get my pilot's license and fly it around the country for you. But you'll have to buy the plane."
Yeah, I can't imagine you'd be able to charter a plane and load it up with a bunch of boxes.
No. I'm sure in the rental agreement there's probably some subclause there. You can't carry a pallet load of explosives in there.
And I can understand that airport security might be calling ASIO if they saw you out on the tarmac just loading explosives into the back of a plane. I can see why in the modern world that might raise a few eyebrows.
This is true.
But
I
hey,
think I finally got to the end of it now.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Did it get peppery?
Yeah, very
Not as
peppery.
much as yours.
No. Okay. Yeah, mine was.
It's definitely got more peppery, but a really nice, mild, just enough to let you know it's there, but not enough to overbear.
Well, more minty peppery kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got an extra 15 minutes out of yours. You're an hour and 35.
Yeah.
If I was smoking this indoors, I reckon I probably could have stretched another 15 minutes as well.
Gosh. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not a bad slow burn as well.
Well, especially given that, we all touched it up once or twice or had to accelerate one, a few times just to keep the thing, just to get it to correct. So given that, I mean, yeah. Okay. Then you really would see the cop's hand shaking as he comes up to the plane.
Yeah.
Omar and boxes of explosives on the same plane.
He'd be scared. Hey, well,
I'd be scared. Oh, dear. Well, gentlemen, it's been
we've got the ALR in the next
Yes.
pack, and it is the same batch that we've had the 2 times that we've used it in the pack. So
yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see how that cigar has aged.
So that will make it one of the oldest. No, it won't. Nope, scrap that. We've had older.
This one's older.
This one's older.
But it's just going to get. I mean, this will be the 3rd time we've had this stick. So
and we noticed a change. We noticed a change between first and second.
Yep.
So it will be interesting to see, is there another step again for the 3rd time? Yeah.
And the good thing with that is people get a feel for what it's like to age a cigar, and hopefully give them a reference point that they can go, well, you know what, I didn't like it as much as the second one, and that means I know I want to age my cigars for a couple of years before I want to smoke them, sort of thing. So
yeah, exactly. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, as it always is, and thank you everyone that's joined us. Thank you for all your comments and the banter. It's been good fun. Keep an eye out for updates as Damo makes decisions about the next pack, about Christmas, and tune in for next month's show to find out what we're doing for the next in-person Hearth, which should be good fun. But in the meantime, stay smoky, and we'll see you next month.
See you then.